So we've had a few rumors in terms of content and changes coming for Vanguard with Season 2, a little over 2 weeks away now at this point. We've heard talks about weapons, maps, new modes like ground war potentially, operators, and maybe even things like tanks. But for Warzone's been a bit of a scarcity. However, as of lately, we may actually have a bit of teases and hints at some coming changes and perhaps big ones at that to Caldera and beyond. Today we're breaking down some rumors and teases from Raven as well as leakers as to what we could be seeing upcoming for Caldera and Warzone in Season 2. That said, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Is there anything in particular you'd like to see within Season 2 for Warzone? Anything you're really hoping for? Whatever the case, drop it below. Additionally, if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video on top of that comment if you'd like to help out the video in the algorithm. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. As we gear up towards Season 2 in the spring a little further out, things are likely going to start ramping up in terms of the content and potential larger reveals, whether that be a new Warzone map like rumored with the anniversary of Warzone, or a potential reveal of something like Modern Warfare 2 to follow up coming later this year. Whatever the case, if you're part of that nearly 70% of viewers who are not subscribed, I'd love to have you in the community and keep you up to date if you're interested. That said, let's jump into it. First, let's come straight from the source. Raven Software. They actually gave us one of the biggest teases we've seen so far in regards to the knowledge that we'll likely be seeing some changes in Season 2. Right now, we don't have any roadmap, we don't really have anything officially stated, but a few days ago, they commented, or rather hinted at, the future of Warzone here in Season 2 after replying to a tweet that said, "Just a heads up, I know you're busy, but needed to point out the buildings at Refinery on Caldera in grid reference F2 don't match up with a video showcasing some things that if you look at it, it doesn't quite line up in regards to locations for that Warzone minimap structure. The area in that F2 grid at the northernmost refinery compound, if you want to check this out for yourself, it still is there like this right now. There's a handful of things that if you look around on the minimap, it'll say that you're in a building or not in a building, but when in reality, you could be the opposite. A 3-story building has 0 markings there that you're inside a building, and then you could also be out in the open and it says you're in the larger warehouse. Now, obviously that's a mistake, right? At least to us right now, yes, it is. But to Raven, it seems like it's a change that went live a little bit earlier, and they plainly responded, maybe the map knows about a change coming to this area in Season 2, with the cool glasses emoji here with that. So it seems like things are going to start changing here in Caldera already in Season 1, a faster change than what we saw with both iterations of Verdansk. Our first major change didn't happen until a few seasons after its launch for both the original and Verdansk 84, so it seems like this second season here of Caldera, we should see a little bit of a revamp to at least one point of interest, potentially multiple though. But is that it? Is that all we're going to be getting? Of course, there are plenty of things that still need to be ironed out in Caldera as itself. Buy stations are still buggy despite them saying they just fixed it. I had this happen to me every other match whenever I was playing last night. Loadout drops can still spawn through the earth near peak. Stability is still an issue. You can go on and on, but remembering that the technical teams and the teams that craft up the content are different, surely one small point of interest change isn't going to be all that we see, right? Well, if you're hoping for a little bit more, luckily, prominent leakers in the community would agree with you on that one, because it looks like Season 2 may have some interesting twists to it. Coming from leakers Reality UK and Alex, who we've talked about here on the channel before, and whose information has checked out in the past, they ended up talking about a new seasonal event with some things that point towards new features, new gameplay mechanics, and other things like that. Reality had a thread in which he talked about the seasonal event description, stating that there's a distribution of Toxic Nebula 5 that has begun rollout from armored convoys across the map. Ambush them to gain valuable equipment and weapons. Remember to deploy your new personal decontamination station to briefly filter out toxic gas as needed. Fresh off the assembly line, a new fleet of bombers has been delivered to Caldera. Just don't collide with the new redeploy balloons, as these obstacles can severely damage your aircraft. Now, fully operational, a new factory has begun production of the lethal Nebula 5 gas for use in various weapons. The development of these new weapons has been detected in underground bunkers scattered across Caldera. So, firstly, a new seasonal event, that part may not come as much a surprise, but the remaining items and what it hints towards actually does give us a lot to talk about. First, Nebula 5. Now, this seemingly is a gas agent here that's being worked on, and unless I'm mistaken, this is an entirely new entry into the lore as of the now shared Vanguard, Black Ops, and Modern Warfare Reboot extended universe. If you finish the campaign of Vanguard, spoilers ahead in just a second, skip a few if you want to play it and haven't already finished it. But if you have, you know at the very end they recover what they're looking for. They make some pretty obvious nods to existing Black Ops lore. Check it out.
How about this? Project Nova.
I can beat it. Project Ether. Reviving the dead.
But that's kind of about it in terms of lore. That's the only real connection to the now shared universe we have outside of that crossover of Butcher, the older Butcher rather, when he meets up with Adler, Mason, Woods, and Hudson in that Season 6 outro for Warzone. But we know of that universe being connected by the crossovers, the seeds planted. We saw Zakhaev in Black Ops Cold War as a direct character working with the Russians. But lore aside, we know that Project Nova and that Nova 6 gas as it would lead to. We know that Project Ether is the Ether storyline formed through Cold War and Vanguard, though chronologically speaking, it's the other way around, but no mention of a Nebula 5, so this bit's a bit new. The armored convoys, though, are found across the map here, apparently, possibly at that first location we just mentioned, but I think that's going to come back here as that factory that's mentioned. But if I were to guess, that's some stuff like the mobile broadcast stations, just situated around the map in random areas that you can go and interact with, get some high-level loot with. But with the mention of the personal decontamination systems, it seems like that gas that could be triggered could be like the red door decoy chest that would explode in gas grenades and do damage to you. That allowing you, though, to decontaminate and not let it do damage to you. Maybe like a new gas mask feature or something like that. The redeploy balloons, that's something that honestly kind of stumps me. If I were to guess, though, because they mention it is for aircraft, I kind of wonder if this is something that drops a new airplane in for you. You can sort of request a redeploy of a new plane. I don't quite know if that's exactly what that will be. That's a bit out there, a bit more vague in description. But then that factory has begun production of the lethal Nebula 5 gas. That, I think, is where we're going to see in F2 that new point of interest, and will then be the corrected minimap that we see here already existing within Season 1 of Warzone at the moment. And finally, probably the biggest thing that, as a story nerd, an Easter egg nerd, that I'm excited for, is that it says that the development of new weapons has been detected in underground bunkers scattered across Caldera. Now, we've talked about this before. We have mentioned that there are bunkers, there's hatches all across Caldera. And dude, please give us an Easter egg here, man. I swear, if you guys tweet me again that first time meme, I'm gonna lose it. I know I'm beating a dead horse with this. I just really love the Easter eggs within Warzone. That was some of my favorite stuff to do throughout Modern Warfare's main year of support. And we haven't seen an actual genuine Easter egg within Warzone since Rebirth Island. It's been over a year at this point since we've had an Easter egg, and I'm itching to do one. I'm itching for a quest here. This also is something that actually lines up with something else that Alex in reality ended up talking about, saying that there is going to be a new level of loot in Warzone with Season 2 called Heroic. And if we're talking about these gas weapons, these sort of experimental and very rare weapons that could be hidden away in the bunkers, that could be that heroic level of loot, similar to how you could end up getting the minigun out of the subway station and play around with that for the match when you found it. That could be the same thing here, but actually given a heroic level of loot, something above those legendary orange chests you can end up finding. So that's something that it looks to be shaping up to be quite an interesting Season 2, but fingers crossed we actually get a playable product. That was the biggest thing with Season 1 that was very much so overshadowing the new content that we had here, and what otherwise I think would be a good experience, it just wasn't playable. So people got mad, they stopped playing, and rightfully so. So hopefully Season 2 doesn't break the game even further, but it looks like what we have on deck actually could be some interesting stuff. So that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. I wanted to just keep you guys in the loop here with this because we got some cool stuff seemingly on the horizon if this all goes according to plan and as follows. So let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys looking forward to any Easter eggs, any new content coming within Warzone? Whatever the case, what do you think of this stuff? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, all things Vanguard, and potentially Modern Warfare 2 content coming up very, very soon. We got you covered here on the channel. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.